2, 1. I got to go.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawm al-Din. الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of everything that exists, the most merciful and the most compassionate to His creation, the one that owns the recompense and the rewards, the giving out of punishment and pleasure on the Day of Judgment, according to His wisdom and His knowledge. He is the one who has created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then He rules above His throne in a matter that is befitting to His greatness, which no mind can conceive. He rules above His throne. And He is the one who has sent His last prophet and messenger Muhammad ibn Abdullah. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And tonight, inshallah, we want to talk about some benefits from Surah Al-Madiah, the 5th surah of the Quran, commonly known as the table spread. The table spread. We all know what the table is. And the spread, of course, is when a person is going to break bread. He or she is going to have a feast. We will take some benefits from this surah, this chapter, which it is a surah, a chapter of the Quran that was revealed after the Prophet made the migration. Just as we covered today, some benefits from the Surah Al-Baqarah, the chapter of the cow or the heifer, female cow. Both of them have in common that they were revealed after the Prophet made migration from Mecca to Medina. After he left his home Mecca and migrated for safety and security and the ability and freedom of worship and liberation to Al-Medina. And that is that this is when the laws, rules and regulations, legislation was given to the Muslim community. As opposed to Mecca, no laws, rules and regulations were given because they were not in a situation where they could establish any rules and regulations. Rather, they were in fear, turmoil, and in a state of insecurity. And this shows you that anytime that people follow rules and regulations, anytime that they have rules and regulations, then the ghaya, as they say, the goal for the rules and regulations is to provide a wholesome life, to provide security and that which is from the opportunities of freedom and liberation, as opposed to oppression, tyranny, and that which is insecurity. So we want to talk some of the statements of the scholars of Islam, particularly from the Tafsir, the explanation of Ibn Kathir about Surah Al-Madiah. In the beginning, Allah, He mentioned Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أوفوا بالعقود أحلت لكم بهيمة الأنعام إلا ما يتلى عليكم إلا ما يتلى عليكم غير محل الصيد وأنتم حرم إن الله يحكم ما يريد. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, in the first verse he mentioned, after his blessed name Allah, and then the preceding names, the most gracious, the most merciful, he said, O you who believe, O you that believe in Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, O you that believe in his messengers, all of them, from the beginning of them, all of you that believe, O you who believe in his prophets, from the first to the last, O you who believe in all of the scripture that he revealed them without any crookedness and falsehood, O you that believe in the revelation that people have tried to change the prior scriptures and they succeeded by his will and his knowledge, O you that believe in the Quran, that the Quran is free from any doubt, crookedness, and it will never ever be changed, O you who believe in the angels that Allah has carrying and holding up his throne, O you that believe in the angel Jibreel, known as Gabriel, the one that Allah entrusted to bring revelation to all of the receivers of revelation, O you that believe in the day of judgment, that this world will not last forever, it will be different as we know it, and people will be paid back for the good or the bad that they did. O you who believe in the divine decree that Allah has already preordained things to happen out of his wisdom, out of his knowledge, and that he can avert any harm from any of his servants as he likes, as he wills. O you that believe in Islam, the way of all of the prophets from the beginning to the end, awfu bil uqud, awfu bil uqud, which means keep your oath, honor your contracts. If you swear to do something, do it. If you enter into an agreement, honor it. If you make an oath, don't break your oath. Ibn Kathir, the great scholar, Abu Faddah, which is his nickname, Muhammad ibn Ismail, known as Ibn Kathir, he said that this first verse, it relates to, according to some of the companions of the Prophet, according to some of the students of the companions of the Prophet, it relates to many types of contract. Some of them have limited it, narrowed it down to a business contract. The contract, the agreement between husband and wife in marriage. The contract of a person when he or she agrees or makes a condition to do something. They narrow it down to the contract of buying and selling. They narrow it down to the different types of agreements that the Muslims they have. As the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, Al-Muslimuna ala shurutihim, that the Muslims, they are to honor that which they make as agreements between themselves. And this means any agreement that doesn't go against what Allah has said in the Quran, or that we can prove that the Messenger has said. Any agreement that doesn't go against what Allah said in His Messenger, then if you make it as a Muslim, you have to stick to it. You have to stick to it. The agreement between a person who is entrusted with an orphan, meaning the one who his mother or father died while he was young, the agreement to look after them. Any agreement, be it the agreement between husband and wife in marriage, which this is an agreement that they will live according to the rules of Islam. They will not oppress one another. They will not harm one another. They will be kind to one another. They will be compassionate to one another. There will be a help and a mate where they're able to help one another. To help one another according to their ability and their knowledge of things that will help. To be a shield for one another from what's wrong. To be a reminder, both male and female, to one another. To be friends, mates. This is an agreement. To honor the rights of one another. To enter into an agreement, buying and selling, where you don't undercut your brother in order to take the business from him, or that you don't enter into a marriage contract with a woman that you know your brother is intended to. All that you yourself make an agreement to borrow, make an agreement to pay back that which you borrow, any type of agreement, then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is referring to when He says, Awfu bil uqud. Keep your oath, keep your agreement. From amongst the agreements, they mention the agreement between the servant and Allah, as we have a natural agreement between us and Allah. Every soul knows that Allah is the creator of that soul. Thus, by default, as they say, by nature or by his, by default, we yield to Him. We lean towards obeying Him. We turn to Him in disparity and in need.
Hassan ibn Muhammad shared your video.
So this is part of the meaning of keep your oath. Then Allah, after He mentioned to keep your oath in general, He said, وَحِلَّتْ لَكُمْ بَهِيمَةُ الْأَنْعَامِ أُحِلَّتْ لَكُمْ بَهِيمَةُ الْأَنْعَامِ provided for you in a lawful manner by Allah. Bahimatul An'am. An'am normally refers to a certain type of animals we call cattle. Be it that which is cows, that which is sheep, goat, that which is from amongst those type of species, we consider them cattle. But Allah said Bahimatul An'am. He mentioned two words that have a meaning of animals. Bahima means any type of animal, which it includes those that fly, like birds, falcons, eagles. It includes the likes of an ox, which we mentioned, a cow. Ox is in that category. It includes Bahimatul An'am. It includes a camel. As we in America, we don't eat camel. This is a foreign dish to us. But the Africans and the Arabs, they know about camel. Bahima, it also includes any type of animal, whether it be a horse, a donkey. It's inclusive of any type of animal, the word bahima. Whereas an'am, it's talking about certain animals that we consider cattle, Islamically, that Allah has mentioned as cattle. Primarily, the cow, again, the sheep, the goat, these are considered cattle. Allah said, lawful to you are those type of animals. And from amongst the general animals, there are some that Allah has restricted, and we will come to that. So He mentions, lawful to you, Bahimatul An'am, illa ma yutla alaykum, ghayru mahil as-sayd. And Allah made the exception, except those that a person would hunt. But here the hunting is not general. Allah says, غَيْرُ مُحِلُّ الصَّيْدِ وَأَنْتُمْ حُرُمٌ, while you're in a state of sanctity to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. So if a person is going to make the pilgrimage, as they used to do it from the lands that you can walk. No one can walk from America to Mecca. It's impossible. Unless he's going to walk across the oceans and the seas. Which in that case, then he's not human. He's supernatural or some type of other creation. But in their lands, they can walk by land. So Allah mentioned this because people would travel, going from one place to another. And if they were going to make the Hajj, the pilgrimage, or the lesser Hajj, which is called Umrah, then Allah said the hunting of these animals that generally have been made okay for you, they are prohibited. Which shows when you go to make the pilgrimage, when you go to make the trip to worship Allah in the sacred city of Mecca, then there are some exceptions. One of them, those animals that normally, those cattle normally, that you will be able to hunt, you will be able to take and kill for eating. You can't do it while you're in a state of making pilgrimage. Then Allah mentioned outside of that they are uhillat lakum, they are okay for you. So they're okay for you outside the time of pilgrimage or the state of sanctity, going to make the pilgrimage, or the minor pilgrimage, we say Umrah, and the major pilgrimage Hajj. Then Allah said, Inna Allah yahkumu ma yurid. And Allah, He makes legislation as He likes. If He wanted to, He could say that these animals are never okay for you. But He made them okay for you. And then He made specific those that are not okay for you. Whether you're making the pilgrimage or not, some of them are not okay for you. And some He made okay for you. And then He made the exception that you cannot hunt them and kill them when you are making the pilgrimage to Allah's house in Mecca. Then Allah said in the next verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tuhillu sha'air Allah. O you who believe. So in the beginning, Allah addressed the believers, the Muslims. Then the second verse, Allah is readdressing us again. Said, O you who believe, لا تحلوا شعائر الله. لا تحلوا شعائر الله. This means that you cannot do these things to desecrate any portents of Allah. So in the beginning, Allah talked about the one who is going to the pilgrimage, cannot hunt. Now you have some things that you cannot do. And it's related to Sha'air Allah, meaning things that are connected to show the greatness of Allah. Like for example, the masjid, the place of worship itself, is a type of Sha'air Allah. It shows the greatness and the sign of Allah. Why? Because in that place, the believers have to gather to magnify and to praise and to worship Allah. The month of Ramadan, for example, is a time where that same magnification of Allah is shown, where people normally, if they were to go 12, 14, 15, 17, 18 hours without eating and drinking, it will be a major problem. People will become very sick. Some of them maybe even may die. But in the blessed month of Ramadan, Allah has made this month a sign of His greatness, that the believers can leave off food and drink in the daytime. The believers can go without eating and drinking for hours, and they will not be harmed. Rather, they will gain physical and spiritual monumental reward. And this is from the greatness of those months. Also, Allah, He mentioned the normal sacrifice that you do, that you have to leave that type of sacrifice when you are in the state of pilgrimage. Kind of re-mentioned that again. And then he mentioned wala qala'ida. And qala'ida, they're saying this was a special type. The people used to hang, one definition, an animal on a tree. And they would think that taking the wabr, the stuff from the animal, his guts, the inside, and all of these, bloody things, by wiping it on them, they would gain some special blessing. So Allah prohibited them from doing those types of acts and emphasize more so when they are going to make the pilgrimage, when they're going to make the Hajj or the Umrah, that they leave all types of acts, especially in the blessed month, or during the time of making that pilgrimage, they are to leave all types of violations, all types of sin. So even though this is a sinful thing in general, to take the insides, the blood, the guts of the animal to wipe on you for good luck and blessings, these type of spooky superstitions and rituals, is more of a violation, it's more of a sin to do it, and you're going to the house of Allah. And then Allah mentioned, وَلَا آمِينَ الْبَيْتِ الْحَرَامَ يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ وَرِضْوَانًا. And also, Allah mentioned the buying and the trading and the things that a person is trying to do of good, including traveling to Allah's house, that you don't try to stop them when they are doing something to reap the reward of Allah, not to prevent them from the sacred house of Allah, not to prevent them from the permissible trade that's wholesome, not to cut them off as the Arabs used to do highway robbery. Bandits would jump out on you and take your caravan, take your animals, take your wife, take all your property. Allah prohibited that in this verse. And then Allah said, وَإِذَا حَلَلْتُمْ فَاصْطَادُوا. وَإِذَا حَلَلْتُمْ فَاصْطَادُوا. And when you're in a sacred state, a ritual state, that means once you get to a certain place before you enter Mecca, you have to have a certain type of bath. You can clip your nails, your hair, put on some good smelling oil, perfume, then you put on a certain garment. And from that time until you finish your rituals, you cannot take any hair off, any nails. You cannot do anything, even so much as to take a flower out of the ground or to pull a leaf from a tree, because that's someone's property you're violating. And so sins are magnified when you're in this state of sanctity. And then Allah, He said, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنَ قَوْمًا عَلَىٰ أَنْ صَدُّوكُمْ عَنِ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ أَنْ تَعْتَدُوا. And so here, because the people used to do this before Islam, they would wait until people were traveling, even though they're going to the sacred house, people would take advantage. And we still have this today on a small scale when you go to make Hajj, or you go to make Umrah, the larger pilgrimage Hajj, the minor pilgrimage Umrah, you will find thieves, Allah musta'an. May Allah help us. You will find thieves that will cut your money belt, and your passport and your money will be gone. You will find people that they purposely go as if they're making the rituals, and they bump you, or they ride you, or they may brush against you. And next thing you know, your personals or your wife or whoever's with you, personals are gone. So they would do a practice like this prior to a person making it to the sacred lands. They would catch them along the way. So here, because they used to do this, and they did this to the Prophet ﷺ في سنة التاسع, in the 9th year, the Prophet wanted to go and make the Hajj or the Umrah. And the people cut off the roads, threatened the security to rob the Prophet, take his goods, fight with him, kill him. So they didn't go. And so when Allah blessed them, the next year to make the pilgrimage, some of the companions wanted to repay those pagans along the road as they were traveling to sabotage, to attack them. And Allah revealed this verse. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّ شَنَآنَ قَوْمٍ أَنْ صَدُّوكُمْ عَنِ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ أَنْ تَعْتَدُوا. And do not let the people who have harmed you, meaning those people before, they stopped you, they prevented you, they made safety unsafe for you in your travel. Do not let their evil, do not let their transgression cause you to transgress them. Allah revealed this verse, prohibiting the companions from doing back that evil. The companions of the Prophet, prohibiting them, stopping them from doing back that evil to the people who had previously did that or wanted to do that to them. Allah said, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. But you should do work and you should be mutual in the good things and those things that Allah He loves. Be mutual in doing those things that Allah He will bless you for, that Allah He will reward you for. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. And do not work together. Do not socialize. Do not associate. Do not accomplish one another in ithm. وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Ithm, anything that's sinful. Anything that's considered wrong, do not share in that with your people in doing that. Do not work together. Do not go with the crew. Do not do it against someone because they did something to you. And then Allah said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. So you should be afraid of the punishment of Allah, because Allah is the one that He will give you a severe punishment if He wills. He will forgive you if He wills, and His mercy is more than His punishment. He loves to forgive more than He likes to punish, but if He likes, because you did the crime, He can make you pay. And this is the point that Allah mentioned, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. So be afraid of Allah, do what's right, avoid what's wrong, because Allah is severe in His punishment. What time is it? You said 6:10. 6:20. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala at the top of the page says, حُرِمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ وَمَا أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ. Allah said, حُرِمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ, prohibited for you. Maytatu, things that are already dead. You're driving along, wife says, wow, look at that. Oh, that's so sad. She sees the deer on the side of the road. You can't pull over your pickup truck and say, oh, that's meat. Put it in the back. You can't do it. Why? Because it's dead. It's been hit by a truck. It's been killed by another vehicle. You can't eat what is dead. If it's killed for the purpose of eating by hunting, as in the previous verse, or by the hunting dog, as Allah will say later on down the line, then that's an exception, that's different. Or if you slaughter the animal, that's different. But something that's dead already, when you approach it, you cannot eat it. وَدَمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. Demo, that which has blood. The word demo here means blood. Almost sounds like an English demo, like a demo. With demo here, it means blood. And the scholars of the explanation of the Quran, they say here what's meant by blood is not merely the blood itself. As sometimes you may eat some food and you have some blood on the chicken bone. So, oh, I can't eat that. It's blood. Haram. Prohibited. Or you may have some meat. As Caucasians, they like this a lot. Maybe some blacks too, but mostly I've seen Caucasians, they like this. They say, medium rare done. The meat is pinkish. May have a little red, like to it. You might see some blood if on the meat itself, on the bone. This is not the meaning of blood here in the verse. It said here, blood, damu, it means damu masfuh, flowing blood. We understand what flowing is like. If a person opens the faucet, he cuts the faucet on in the kitchen. That water that's running, that's flowing. That's considered flowing. So, yani what's meant here, you have some meat and the blood is flowing. Like the people like to be cannibalistic. You know, they like to have the meat, the blood is flowing. Or in this case, some people also mention it means drinking the blood. Then this is prohibited. And then Allah said, وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ, and the meat of the flesh of the pig, the swine. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, in conjunction with this issue of the pig, he mentioned the backgammon, the dominoes. In the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah, an authentic hadith, that the one who plays with backgammon or dominoes, like he's sticking his hand in the flesh of the pig or the blood of the pig. Showing you backgammon and dominoes is prohibited. The Muslims cannot play it. It's an unlawful sport or pastime or game. Here Allah said the literal lahm al-khinzir, the pork chop, the chitlins, the bacon, the pig snoot, them skins you love so much, you pour all that hot sauce on, hot link sausage, spam, ham, wham bam, thank you ma'am, haram. All of that haram. Any pork byproducts. Allah said, وَمَا أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ, and that which someone has slaughtered in other than the name of Allah. This is controversial. We'll come back to that later. But we understand, if you slaughtered in other than the name of Allah, pick a name. What's the name other than Allah? I got the meat not right now. Give me a name. Jesus. So somebody says Jesus. Is that meat halal according to this part of the verse? No, because Allah said that what is killed in other than the name of Allah. Somebody want to kill a meat. Somebody give me another name. Buddha. Somebody has the meat, say Buddha. The meat halal, is it good? No. What if somebody have the knife and they say Ar-Rahman and you kill the meat? Is it good or not? Halal. Says okay, why? Because Ar-Rahman is one of the names of Allah. But this will be an innovation. Because the Prophet didn't mention Ar-Rahman, he mentioned Allah. This would be called bid'ah idafiyah, meaning something that the original thing is okay, but because you did it in this wrong place, you applied it in a way or in an area that the Prophet didn't, it becomes innovation. So the Ar-Rahman, which means the most merciful to all of his creation, is one of the names of Allah. You can't take the blade, the knife, and slaughter the animal, say Ar-Rahman and be alright. The meat will be permissible, but you will be making a sin, in your slaughter will be making an act of innovation. Why? Because slaughter, dip, killing the meat in this way is an act of worship. It's an act of worship. And in order to do an act of worship, meaning something that Allah loves and that He's pleased with, you have to follow the script. You have to do how Allah said it, or how He informed His messenger. If you choose another way, even though it's something Allah loves, it becomes innovation, and Allah doesn't love it at that point. You've made it your own way to execute what Allah loves. And this was the problem in Christianity. Here, then Allah said, when what is killed, then other than the name of Allah, وَمَا أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ وَالْمُنْقَنِقَةُ وَالْمَعْقُودَةُ وَالْمُتَرَدِّيَةُ وَالنَّطِيحَةُ. That, the first one, is died because somebody beat it, gave it blows over the head. Beat it to death. Can't eat it. If something falls from a cliff, You can't eat it. If something is killed by the horns of another animal, gored to death, can't eat it. And also, if something is killed by another animal, the lion attacks the zebra. Can't take that, say, man, we having some zebra burgers today. Thank you, lion. Can't do it. And what is eaten by the animals of prey. This fits more with this part of the verse. Animals that prey on other animals, you can't eat that animal. But let's say two animals are fighting and the animal defeats the other animal in defense. Then that's the part of the verse prior to that. You still can't eat it. Then you have akala sabr. That's the animal that's eaten by a predator. وَمَا نُبِحَ عَلَى النُّصُوبِ. And what is killed on the altar. When they kill on the altar, they sacrifice to other than Allah. To the great saint, to this great knowledgeable person. You can't eat that meat. وَأَن تَسْتَقْسِمُوا بِالْأَسْلَامِ. And the people used to draw arrows to cast their fate. If I get the short arrow, then that means I get the woman. But you can't take the woman in marriage against her will. Whoever gets the longest one, then all this fortune comes to me. You can't do that. It's like a game of chance. That's why the origin of gambling is haram. Because it's unjust. Gambling, lotto, dice, is unjust. You take someone's property or someone's thing, or your fate is made over a chance. You're throwing away something Allah gave you on a chance. It's a type of being wasteful. Then Allah said, ذَلِكُمْ فِسْقٌ. For you, all of this is a fisq here means a sin. Then Allah said, الْيَوْمَ يَئِسَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ دِينِكُمْ. On this day, the disbelievers have given up all hope that they will turn you away from your religion. This is what they were doing in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. By fighting with them, by making it difficult for them, by boycotting them, by spreading lies and rhetoric about them, by telling the people that they were crazy. The Muslims of Muhammad, they're crazy. Trying to turn them back from their religion. Once the sin of the Muslim was so strong, Allah said, الْيَوْمَ يَئِسَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ دِينِكُمْ. This day they gave up all hope. Man, leave them alone. Let them stay on what they on. Allah said, يَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ. This day I completed your religion for you. That means Muslims can't come with new things. It's complete. وَأَمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And I perfected my blessing upon you. Meaning it's perfected, but it's a blessing, a gift from Allah. That's when you know Islam properly and you practice Islam the right way. It's a gift from Allah. Not a can't do religion. Not a tyrannical religion. Tyrannical. Not a male chauvinistic religion. Like the people say, man, they treat women bad in Islam. But if all they see in the news, or reading the newspaper, or seeing the romance book, or hear from the YouTube, or they know from the neighbor that he's beating the daylights out of his wife, what are they supposed to say? If men are locking the women in the house, like when we're in Yemen, they had locks on the outside of the door. You can't imagine this. A lock on the outside of the door that you can't open from the inside. It's almost like a padlock type of lock that you pull like this and then you latch it. Someone have to latch from the outside. So you have a door, you exit your house. You're still in the courtyard and you exit that door. They will lock that courtyard door. the first door to get in your house from the outside. So the lady can't come out until the man comes back from the lesson. He might be gone 4 hours. He might have 2-3 classes across the other side of the village. And they understand this to be okay from certain texts where the Prophet mentioned that the lady, she doesn't leave the house without her husband's permission. But the Arabs, they have taken that statement to mean all the way across the board. And when we ask our scholars in Yemen, including the woman scholar, that her father was the greatest scholar of our time of Yemen, and he produced a woman scholar like him. When we asked him and the woman asked her about this, they said if the lady has a haja, if she has a need, then she does not have to ask the husband. We said, give us some examples. They said, ala sabili mithal, for example, hiya tahtajina and tadhabina ila tabiba. She has to go to the doctor. She has a need, a pain, feel sick, this, that. Out of being courteous, considerate, she can tell the husband, hon, I'm calling you to let you know I'm going to the doctor. But let's say she's in so much pain, or she has the senses, the scruples to do, grab her keys, stumble down the steps, get in the car and go to the doctor. Is she wrong? No, she's not wrong. Can the husband say, where you been? I've been calling you for 4 hours. What do you mean you're at the doctor? Did you get my permission? No, he cannot. Another example we asked. Give us another example. They said, إِذَا كَانَ لَهَا حَاجَةً أَن تَمْشِينَ إِلَى الْأَسْوَاقِ. If she has to go to the market. Remember, in some of them countries, they didn't have a refrigerator. So where we go a week, 3 days, 2 weeks, without having to really go to the store, they got to go to the store every day to get the stuff fresh, to make the lunch. She got 6 kids, or just her and her husband. She got to go get the stuff to prepare the meal. She have to sit in the house, wait for him to come to say, I got to go get some tomatoes and onions, and then the lunch is not ready, and then he has to wait, then he didn't eat, now he's upset, then he's got to go back out. No, she has a need, she goes to the market. Everybody has phones now, she can say, honey, I'm running to the store. You can't say, you just went to the store yesterday. Maybe she forgot. She has a legitimate need, she does not have to get the husband permission. Barakallahu fiqh. Some of them, last example, when it comes to this issue, they said even the fact that she has to go to the neighbor's house. So the brothers can kill me on this one, but man, we don't want to shake talking no more. Because the woman that have to have some socialization, just like the men have to have socialization. This is one of the reasons the man, he has to pray in the masjid. The man is not made, he just sit in the house. Something wrong with him mentally if he just sit in the house. He got to go out, work, earn, make moves, politic. Good politics. To bring home, as they say, we mean the halal bacon. Because the man is the provider. Salam. Likewise, the woman, she can't just sit in the house. Sit. No human is made to be like that. Even the animals at the zoo, at some point they let them go in the yard, they let them out the cage. If she has to go to the neighbor house to visit, the neighbor is an obedient or a good person, not corrupting, not evil, she has to go visit the neighbor. And so this even falls in the category, because socializing brother and sisterhood is a part of the religion. So does it mean the lady can take that and abuse it every time now she has one of these reasons, so she never asks the husband to go out? She can go from this city to the next city, from this state to the next state? No. But we're saying there are some exceptions, some needs that the woman does not have to sit and wait until she gets the husband's permission. If it's a doctor, she has to go to the store, get something legitimate. We're not saying go, she want to walk through the mall for 2-3. No, she really got to go get something. She has to go to the neighbor. She ain't been out in days. She need to get some air, go see the neighbor, how's everything, this, that. These are some of the reasons they mention. And the reason we mention this is because, again, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He mentioned the issues that are pertaining to Islam being a ni'mah, that He has perfected His blessing upon us, that's Islam. And when we understand Islam properly, when we practice Islam the way that it should be practiced, then we really benefit from that great blessing of Allah. And then Allah said, وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا, and I'm pleased with Islam as your religion. This is what we want to present from Surah Al-Madiah, the explanation of the table spread, the 5th surah of the Quran. وَنَسْأَلَ اللَّهَ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى and يُبَارِكْ فِينَا وَيَعْفُ عَنَّا كَثِيرًا. We ask Allah to bless us and pardon us, for we make many mistakes. وَصَلَى اللَّهُ وَسَلَّمَ بَارَكَ الرَّسُولِ الْكَرِيمِ وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا والحمد لله رب العالمين. Any questions?
Just one.
تفضل.
If the animal falls from a hill and injured himself, like break his leg, but still was alive, and you saw that animal injured?
Yes. Also, you just brought back, you just jarred my memory. One of the meanings of the words I forgot to translate means an animal by strangulation. Animal by strangulation. If the animal was strangled to death, you can't eat that animal. That's from the verse at the top of the page. The question was asked, if a person finds an animal, the animal fell and broke his leg, and you slaughter that animal, can you eat that animal? The answer is yes. Even if the animal, wa alaikum salam, was shot, but the animal didn't die. Like this happened once when we were in Yemen, living in Yemen. There was a coyote, a hyena. I almost said coyote, hyena. Hyena is from the family of the fox, the wolf, the fox, the wolf, something else I'm missing. Yeah, dog, canine. The hyena is a cross between those two. They used to come down over the mountain and eat the pastures, graze in the pastures of the farmers, because when we lived in Yemen, many of the locals were farmers. And so one night, and you imagine it's very quiet in the village, no cars, no traffic, no electric, so it's quiet. So the farmer, he seen the hyena and he got his SK-47 shotgun, machine gun, and he pop, 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 shot. So he hit it once, he took off running. So he made it up the hill, over the mountain. Some of the people seen it, but they didn't want to go at nighttime, it's too dark. So the next day, a group of the students, they say, hey, let's go and get the hyena. He's still alive. Some brothers said they were riding on the other side of the mountain and they seen a hyena. So I never seen a hyena before. And the mountain was very tall. The mountain was maybe like, 25 feet in the air tall, man. Tall mountain. So this day I'm scaling this mountain. I got to see this, a hyena. And I could see that. So me and my son was about 8 years old, we went up the mountain with a group of the students. And when we get up the mountain, we had to come down on the other side, and there the hyena was laying, breathing very hard, because he was shot. He lay there all night to the next day, about 11 a.m. in the morning. So the guys are trying to slaughter him, because the question you asked, he was still alive, although he was injured. And they managed to slaughter him. The blood came out, which released the poisons and the toxins and toxicity. And they carried the hyena back up and over the mountain to our village. And they skinned it and they ate it. And of course, they offered some people like me. I said, no, that's not from our food. May Allah bless you. And so, if an animal is injured by any type of injury, and he's alive, if you can get to that animal, and he's from the animals that you're able to slaughter, meaning it's in the category of okay animals, because some animals are not in the category that you can eat. If he's in the category that you can eat, you slaughter him and you can eat him. And by the way, the hyena is the exception. You can't eat a fox, you can't eat a wolf, you can't eat a dog, but the Prophet gave the exception to the hyena, and I forgot the reason why. It's been a long time I reviewed that issue, but I know that this was an exception. You can't eat a fox, you can't eat a wolf, and you cannot eat a dog, but a hyena, which is a cross between the two of them, you can eat that. Any more questions? Salam salam. Hayak Allah. Live Aish. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. How are you? Any questions?
Yeah, man, should I get the car now?
He's on this issue about the car. Wallahi, ask me and then we'll end for the adhan and the iqamah. About a car he wants to buy, and the owner, he had a dog in the car. And I went and I researched all of the books that I knew and found, and some questions asked about this from some scholars. And they mentioned that there are some hadith that are not authentic about dogs. And there's one that's authentic that the Prophet said, had there not been a nation, because they are a nation, a community, like humans are a nation, a community. Prophet said, had there not been an ummah, I would have commanded you to kill them all. He said, but they're a nation. So, leave them, give them their right. Don't harm them except for the all-black dog. And the scholars say because the devils, the jinns can get inside of those dogs, possess those dogs and do harm, attack people. Prophet Sallallahu also mentioned, Barakallahu fikum, that there are 3 types of dogs a person can have Islamically. And those 3 are the exception, because the Prophet mentioned that the person who has a image that resembles a human or animal. This includes, as many scholars say, the chess pieces. Chess pieces, you have a what? An elephant, a king, a pharaoh, a horse. So these, they said you can't play with them. So what about have them on the table in the house for decoration? You can't. The trophies, I know, we played basketball and we was hooping in your face and all that. Playing baseball and football, but we can't have the trophy, in the house is a surah. It's considered the image. The Prophet mentioned the house that has an image and the dog. لا يدخل الملائكة في بيت سور ولا كلب ولا surah. The angels do not enter a house where there's dogs and images. There's a whole lot other than that, but that's one you can take that one. That's fine. Yeah, can't do it. But the Prophet gave exception. He said the one he needs a dog in mashi, meaning a walking dog. If he's blind like me, that's an exception. We mentioned just hunting dog is in the Surah Madiah. We didn't get to it. Yani والمجربين والمجربين والمكلبين والمحربين الكلب, yes, نعم, الكلب, dog, مجربين. This the Prophet he mentioned is exception. Yani that you teach, you taught them. علمهم ما تعلمهن ما علمكم الله. That you taught them what Allah taught you. So you train those dogs to go hunt. So they're an exception. مجربين مكلبين, the hunting dog. تعلموهن, that you taught مما علمكم الله, that which Allah taught you. So if you get a dog, you train him how to hunt, he brings the meat back, you can eat that meat. What's the point? You can't eat the meat from a dog that you can't have. Meaning, how are you going to train a dog that you can't have? So this is an exception. Prophet mentions the hadith. Hunting dog, a dog for the disabled, and a guard dog. And it's specified guard dog in general. Doesn't mean cattle alone or whatever. It's general. Some hadith, the scholars give interpretation, said to guard the women. Because remember, the Sahaba used to go out, they'd be going like months. People could come in their house, this, that. So some narrations mention a guard dog to protect the women. How about that? But it doesn't mean you can have that dog in the house. He might come in the house, like in the hadith of Jibril. Where was he at? Under the bed. Jibril wouldn't come in. He said, Muhammad's a dog under your bed, which show the Prophet didn't sleep on the floor. That's another misconception. He didn't say that the dog's laying under the mattress. He said the dog's under the bed, man. Yeah. People say sleep on the floor is sunnah. Sleep on the floor is sunnah. Prophet, like the Gilligan Island, the thing that swing. And he also had a bed made out of like the straw from the palm tree, like we said, the wicker basket from the finger hut. And he had a bed like this. Now Aisha wanted to make it real comfortable, put some stuff under, and he took it out because he liked it to be not too soft, so he can get up and pray in the night. If it's too comfortable, he may oversleep. The point is, these are some exceptions for having the dog. But we don't say that you can have it in the house as a pet. We don't say that the dog should be in the house. Maybe there's some exception if it's very cold, very rainy. You put them in the basement where it's, warm and clean, but not upstairs in the house where you dwell that we consider the house. Because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that the angels will not enter the house where there are dog and images. And this, lastly, does not prevent the deaf angel. Allah musta'an. Does not prevent the angel of death. Wherever you may be, in a bar, in a house with 1 million dogs, statues, you'll be on the moon. When that angel is assigned to take your soul, as Allah said, وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مَشَيِّدَةٍ, if you be on the farthest remote planet, when death is assigned to you, that angel will come and snatch your soul. So don't think you're going to have a bunch of dogs and statues in the house and you're going to live forever. It's not happening. Allah musta'an. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا هو أستغفرك وأتوب إليه. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if there are any mistakes I made to forgive me and to accept from me, inshallah, as a good deed. Alhamdulillah bil alameen. And thank you for your time. Tomorrow, inshallah, at 10 o'clock, we will continue the Tafsir of Surah Madiah, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, here on the same channel, Marcus Safinatul Noor, Noah's Ark Inc. And we will also do some benefits from Usulul Thalatha, 3 fundamentals by Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. And we will try to squeeze in the issue, is music permissible or not? Wallahu musta'an. We ran out of time. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. You have to stop this when it has a share button or a direct button. Stop. If you touch anything else, we blow it. You see it?
My apologies for missing goodbye today.
I'm not the Pope and I'm not the priest, and this is not Catholicism.